Well guys, the transfer window has come and gone, and there are people who have got mixed feelings about it, to be honest with you. Now, I was going to do a live stream at the end of the transfer window, the last hour or something like that, but to be honest with you, I didn't really think we were going to be bringing anyone in. Yes, of course, you had Rob Holding came in at the last few moments of the transfer window, but to be fair, I think his deal had been done a little while before that. Obviously they had that great reveal video where he was up in London. That's not something you can knock up in 5 minutes, so I think that they obviously had him signed for quite a while before revealing him towards the end of the transfer window to maybe keep the fans happy and give them something to cheer. However, there were things like Ugo Ekitike, who I thought, there was rumours that he was going to come from PSG. To be fair, I don't think there was ever any chance that he was going to come from PSG. He approached us with his agent, which of course PSG weren't happy about. They wanted him to go to Germany. He didn't want to go to Germany. He wanted to go to the Premier League, and it was all a bit of a mess, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to be coming to Crystal Palace, and I know that a lot of people won't either. So at the end of the day, we've got a few signings. We've got a couple of signings coming. We've got Lerma, obviously, and a couple of others. And I just thought to myself, what can we do? I thought I would do a little video to talk about the transfer window, because there are a lot of people who felt that we didn't do enough, and there were others who felt that we did okay. And I'm going to let you know my thoughts on it, and then hopefully you will let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this on Crystal Palace, and also consider becoming a channel member so you can get lots of little perks as well, which you'll be able to see on my channel page. So I thought initially we weren't doing too badly. Obviously we did the deal with França, and then we got Jefferson Lerma, and I thought they were two pretty good signings, to be fair. Lerma, in the games he's played in, has done really well. I think him and Doucouré in the middle are quite a solid partnership, so that's a good thing to begin with, and also it gives us more options in the middle now than we had before. When it came to losing Zaha, I honestly felt that we were going to be struggling to replace him. But I think that Roy Hodgson's may be thinking that Rak-Sakyi will possibly be a temporary fix. Now, of course, the one thing I'm concerned about with Rak-Sakyi is that he's still quite a small guy. I mean, he's still quite young, obviously, but he's also quite slight. He hasn't really bulked up yet, and I think that in a big Premier League game, he may well get himself clattered about, which obviously we don't want. So that's my only concern with Rak-Sakyi. But he's a good player, and I think that if he comes on maybe at the last few minutes of a game when we need a goal or when we need something to happen, he may well be able to produce the goods for us, and I'm hoping that will be the case. In terms of França, I'm a little bit concerned about him because obviously he has this injury. Whether we knew about it before or whether we knew the severity of it before we signed him, I don't know. But he does have this injury which they are apparently keeping an eye on, so I'm hoping that it means it's going to be coming in pretty soon, but I think it's probably going to be a few weeks, maybe a month or so before we actually see him enter the training field and enter the first team. And he's only 19 years old, so how much input he's going to have in the first team straight away, I don't know. It depends on what Roy Hodgson thinks of him. So those two signings were, so that signing of França was a bit of a worry for me. To be fair, we did do some good things in the window. I mean, we've got Elise to extend his contract when we thought that he may well be going, so that's obviously a positive thing. We're also looking at keeping Mateta on for a bit longer. Now, I know that Mateta isn't obviously in the same league as Elise, but if he had gone without us getting a striker in, I think we would have been even more trouble than we are now. Yes, he scored a hat-trick against Plymouth, but that's Plymouth. No disrespect to Plymouth, but they are a team slightly less advanced than us in terms of players, so it means that we're going to be, we're going to have chances against them. So even though he scored a hat-trick against Plymouth, there's no guarantee he's going to be scoring goals in the Premier League. So I'm hoping that this will give him a bit of confidence, and he might start to get the odd one or two goals anyway. I think Edouard, as I said in a previous video, has had a bit of a boost in confidence himself. So I think there's every chance that he's going to be able to knock a few goals in as well. And the two of them together, with Ayew providing a little bit of support, could well be a good formula for us if we can get them firing on all cylinders. Now, obviously, Eze is another player who was touted as being approached by various clubs, so it's great that we've kept him as well. And Doucouré, of course, was subject of some speculation too. So for us to keep hold of those players, extend Olise's contract, I know it doesn't sound much in the short term, but long term I think it means that this club are hoping that they can build on that. Now, the whole situation regarding Vicente Guaita was very difficult. It meant that we had to get another goalkeeper in, and Henderson he's a decent goalkeeper. He's got Premier League experience. He's still fairly young, and I know that people were a bit unhappy with the £20 million price tag, but the way I look at it is that he's a young player. He's got to have a few years, hopefully, at Crystal Palace, and that will make him, hopefully, that will make him worthwhile and make him value for money. We needed to have a second goalkeeper, obviously, and I think that he was the one that was available at the time, and I think he's a good keeper. He's certainly a good keeper behind Johnson. However, the issue that I'm having, as somebody else has mentioned as well, is the fact that he left Manchester United because he didn't want to be second fiddle. So what have they offered him at Crystal Palace? Perhaps they've offered him the chance to get into the first team if he does well enough, or something like that. I don't know. But whatever, he has decided to sign with us, which is, I think, a good idea. So although it wasn't the transfer window that I think we all wanted, it certainly isn't the worst in the world. However, the season is as it is, and we now have to deal with the players that we've got until January, when maybe we'll sign a couple of players or one player, maybe we won't. But we now have to deal with what we've got. So in general terms, I think it wasn't the window I was hoping for. I was hoping we would at least get a striker in, because someone, if for any other reasons, to give us a bit of competition for the players up front. But it wasn't to happen, and we now have what we have. So hopefully this will be enough to keep us ticking along until January, when it may become evident then that we may need a striker if the guys don't start banging the goals in. But we have to get behind the team. I think it's important that they get our support as well. So I know that there are a lot of guys out there, a lot of Palace fans out there who will be giving their wholehearted support, which is fantastic. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think, whether you believe that this transfer window was decent or not, and also what are your thoughts on França? I mean, I personally hope he's not going to be another Ferguson. No disrespect to Ferguson, he's had a terrible time with injuries, but I hope that he's not going to be another one of those who's going to be sidelined for a year or 2 years and maybe never set foot on the pitch. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. Let me know down in the comments what you think about França, and I'll see you next time.